Oh,
Good.
Hi.
Hey, all right.
we're ready to go, Dawn.
Okay, all right. The Southborough Tricentennial Committee is now in session. It's Wednesday, January 15th at 6:30. And we'll go to the first agenda item, which is reflections on the Tricentennial celebratory events. And our first guest speaker tonight is Ryan Renovan, Library Director. Welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
I would have I could have joined you on Zoom, but it would have been from my car. So I just figured I'd stay a little bit late.
We try to keep this to 15.
Okay.
Do you
That
know
sounds
when
great.
do you know when Southborough turns 300?
It's in 2027, right? Yeah. See?
We're off to a good start.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Does the library have any any plans or ideas or have anything in motion?
Well, so we do public programming about 6 months in advance. So it's a little early for us to have anything sort of plotted out now. We do have a part-time staff member named Val, who works as a full-time teacher. She had started looking at some potential designs to use our Idea Lab to do like 3D prints and laser cut sort of tutorials. And so we had done like SOBO 300, like we had tried a couple test ones, and we actually did that last year. But Val is there so infrequently is the problem, is that she's not coming back to work until March. So we're going to kind of revisit it then, especially since she's the only staff member who knows how to use our laser cutter currently. So she's going to teach our youth services librarian and I how to do it.
I don't know. It looks like a robocall.
You just check the audio. I want to make sure they can both hear us.
Oh, okay. Shut this off in a second.
Patty, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. I'm sorry, I was writing something.
Okay, I didn't know if you were speaking or couldn't hear you, so I just wanted to be sure.
Oh, no, I'm typing.
Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, so that was, I don't know if that answered your question, but that was
Yes.
kind of where we're at as far as like ideas, I would say. I do think we have sort of spoken a little bit with our friends group. On June, they usually do a book sale every year. So I didn't know if that could be a potential tie-in. The assistant director and I, Kim and I, we both go to those meetings. So that's something I could kind of bring to that group. They're independent because they're a separate 501c3, but we work with them on potential events and fundraisers. And Sandy's the vice president, so I'm sure she's happy about that. So
Yes, we have a mold.
yeah.
Have you seen that, our logo?
Yes.
Okay. Well, anybody got any more questions? Any questions for Ryan?
I don't have any questions, but we could do something with the strawberry social because that's actually a very old, in general, tradition.
Yeah.
Something that they did even in colonial times. So maybe we could do something with that.
Yeah, that's sort of part of the history, right?
Right.
So that came up recently in the last Friends meeting, is that there seemed to be a desire to bring that event back. And I did what I call the Strawberry Social 2.0 like many years ago. And I'm ready to try that again. I think it was a lot of work, I can tell you, because I kind of was on an island by myself during that period of time. But I think I have a lot of great friends, volunteers like Sandy, who would help me. But that would be great. I think bringing back the Strawberry Social is a definite, that's something we could get people excited about. So
June as well. Yeah, it's basically, during strawberry season, and we basically sell
Just June.
strawberry shortcake
Okay,
at the library.
okay.
And strawberry shortcake is a recipe that, goes way back, but the library has several historic Southborough artifacts, don't you? And some of the.
Yeah, we have some stuff on the exhibit right now,
Yeah.
and then we have a historical collection upstairs, so we could feature different things from that. We tried to engage, it was like I don't want to shoot my horn about this, but we did try to make it like a little mini heritage day when we brought the event back. So we had like a vendor, it was the Coco's Tropical Ice people from Auburn, which I don't even know if they're still in business, but they had given out like strawberry, it was like flavored ice,
Ices.
so people could just get that, and they just had like a little booth, and then some members of Rotary had donated strawberry themed raffle baskets. So we did like a raffle for different kids. So it was like a multi-event. And did we do a book sale at the same time?
I think.
We did. I
Yeah.
think we did.
Yeah.
So we like sort of paired it with a book sale, and then people could also buy strawberry shortcakes at the same time. So it was fun. We had like over 200 people show up, which is crazy. That's usually my things are. People don't like my stuff that much.
Oh,
They
we
like
also
the
had,
King
this
and
is
Mariana
all
stuff.
you. We
Yeah.
didn't have bad weather either. I mean, it was a
Yeah.
nice day.
Yeah.
That's
Was this last year?
No,
No,
this
this was
was like
like
3 years.
3 years.
20, it was pre-COVID. It was like 2018, 2019, it was like somewhere around there. It was, yeah. So,
They have those, all over the place,
Mhm.
and some of them huge, to thousands of people.
What are we talking about? The strawberry?
You know, the strawberry
Yes,
socials.
yes,
uh,
The festivals. Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of towns have festivals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was originally gonna be Chestnut Hill Farm donated the strawberries, and then they had a flood like 3 days before the event. So the woman who runs our book sales and her daughter, who was a former employee, went and picked strawberries for a full day. And that's how we had strawberries for the event, and they donated them.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was very stressful, I can tell you.
could have been worse, could have been like a coconut.
Yeah, but it was great because we had 200 people. So I mean, it worked out.
Are those free?
Kind of interesting with everything that we've been talking about, taking an event that has been successful in the past and supersizing it for the Tricentennial. So maybe we could just, kind of take this and run and make it like one of the bigger events especially for the library.
Yeah,
Yeah.
June is strawberry season, and then it helped that it was when the friends typically do a big book sale anyway. So I think people were already looking for the book sale, but we had more foot traffic than a normal book sale that time, I can tell you.
I think, Vanessa, you told me that, the state did not give you guys the grant for an addition.
Yeah, that's correct.
So with that, and knowing what you know about the process, is it impossible that the library site would be under construction during 2027?
Well, I can almost guarantee now that it won't. We won't be able to reapply to the program until the next grant round opens up. At the MBLC meeting last week on Tuesday, they said that will either be in FY27 or FY28. Then we have to resubmit a letter of intent. We have to reapply to the program. That process, I mean, I know Andrew was there when I was talking about getting the select board approval to move forward with the letter of intent, but that was like a 14-month period. So we wouldn't even know that we were in a new grant round. Let's say they opened it up in FY27. We wouldn't know closer to the end of FY28 if we were in, based on the time frame we just
So
experienced.
this is just I think Don's question was for purpose of organizing a parade, and that, if it was gonna be a big construction site, how that would impact, but it's not.
No,
Yeah.
and we're not looking at any short-term construction projects at the moment that I'm aware of, especially for FY27.
And probably everybody knows this, but I don't. To what extent do you guys control the whole site? Obviously, you have the parking lot there, and you have the building, and the lawn at the corner and all the way up to the cemetery. Do you have any control over the new Heritage Park?
Control?
No,
No,
The-
no, the library does not. The pocket park he's talking about.
Yeah, the deed and Mass General Law gives the trustees, so not me, but the trustees custodianship over the building and the property of the library. That doesn't include the park.
Who does run the park, let's say,
the towns.
Yeah.
so
oh,
like-
it is a town?
Yeah.
And the maintenance is DPW?
Yeah.
We're just,
So if you wanted to use it for something, that can be done.
yeah,
I know there was a lot of talk about the library doing potential programs there, like us having summer story times, because we do afternoon pajama story times, but we haven't, the park wasn't really ready to go last
Yeah.
summer, so we haven't had any discussion. I mean, we're not using it, we're not doing outdoor events right now. But when that happens, we probably have conversations again about whether or not we could use that space, but it would be, we don't expect it, we would ask and hopefully we'd be granted permission.
yeah, I guess it would be case by case basis. No, what I think is most interesting that you've said, is that you guys operate kind of on a 6-month cycle. We look forward only about 6 months.
Yeah, so we're plotting out summer reading right now, like we're finalizing most of the details. So it's a little beyond that, just because we look at programming more seasonally, so spring is pretty much done. We add things when people ask or when an opportunity comes up or we get grant funding or the friends have a great idea. We're talking about doing some friends fundraisers, which are still kind of in the brainstorming stage right now, but we may do those in the spring or the early summer. But we've already plotted out most of our vendor-led programs, I would say, for the summer through August at present. So we're a little ahead of schedule right now, but we get a lot of feedback that we plan things out too far in advance. And I know you guys are already looking ahead like 3 years, so.
So that's what I think one of the messages that we'll be sending to you is, we don't want you to change what you're doing relative to the library. We would like you to include a component that you guys think about plan 2027.
Yeah.
It's further down over the horizon than you're used to, but we need to reprogram to think 2 years ahead.
Well, we do book out with the gardeners when we do art and bloom. That sometimes is, a year and a half in advance. So it's not uncommon for us to look at things in the future. So, but we can definitely, I'm not opposed to starting conversations about things in 2027 now. I think that, you guys probably want to iron up a schedule and that makes sense. So to me,
One of our goals for 2025 is to put together a schedule for 2027. Like when's the laser show, when's the gal, when's the parade, and the big things, and then fill in the gaps with smaller, easier to do things. But that's one of our goals. So that but 11 months from now, 12 months from now, we'll have a more than a skeleton of a plan schedule for what we're going to do in 2027. That's what I'm hoping to.
yeah, and we do have a community bulletin board and we have an area when you first walk in that has flyers. So, when we get closer to the events, even if they're not taking place at the library, we do that for other events in town. So we can help advertise. I do things on social media, so I can help get the word out that way too. So I'm happy to keep the lines of communication open as things start to get finalized. We probably wouldn't publicize anything you guys decide for 2027 this year, but the more time we have, I would say usually the better the events are. So it's good you're thinking that far ahead.
Do you have anything to do with Faith School libraries or St. Mark's?
No,
Guys huddle at all?
we have relations, like the librarians in those schools do sometimes come in and utilize the library, and some of the residents come in and utilize the library, but we don't have any direct partnership. We've talked about having teen volunteers from St. Mark's help out with our Girls Who Code program, only because that's been a lot more successful than we thought. And so there's some girls with coding experience who've expressed interest in helping, and our youth services librarian, I think, is taking them up on that offer.
Guys, got any more questions, comments? It's our opportunity. We got guy with some horsepower here.
Ryan also has the ability to publicize pretty seriously. They have the library has a substantial email list. So that, and I know he'd help us out if it's appropriate. So
Yeah, we typically reserve it for library events, but if we tie the town's birthday into the library, then it sort of becomes a library event, right? So
and the library was built in the 1800s or the beginning of the 1900s.
the original building started construction in 1911 and then was completed in 1912. So the building's a little over 100 years old. The addition was put on in 89. That's when it was completed.
Remember that, Jim?
But Ryan, the actual fact that we have a Southborough library, it's one of the oldest in the country, is it not?
So the library was originally the Fay Library that was part of the townhouse. But yeah, I do believe it was one of the early libraries in Massachusetts. So Patricia's right.
Yeah, and it's saying Massachusetts would mean the country. That's
Yeah.
So would you actually say that if we were doing like the strawberry festival or strawberry social, you could promote, but could you promote other things as well, for this tricentennial? You've got a substantial list and we would love to tap in on that.
I think it would just depend case by case. Again, we try to reserve the library's electronic newsletter for library events. But there's a lot of different avenues we have that we market materials. So we use social media, we use the bulletin boards in the library itself. So, don't disregard physical flyers. That has been, we found that more people find out about our events recently when we asked them about the physical flyers that are up at the library. But would I help? Again, I think as long as there's a library component
Connection.
to what you're doing, and the only reason I say that, Ginny, is because we've had a lot of people ask to utilize our newsletter, and I have to be careful about having sort of boundaries on that. But if it's a town-related event, especially if it's something the library is perfectly involved in, we do try to help. So, and we work with rec and youth and family in different events as well. So
What is the annual traffic through the library?
put me on the spot
I'm
here.
sorry.
We have about give or take 60,000 visits a year.
That's my point. More people come to the library than probably almost any other building in town. And if they go to the townhouse, they're in and out. Because they're there for, business.
Yeah, I think the annual report that you give, it's always like blown away when you see that huge number, how many people use the library, especially, with the internet and all that stuff. Everyone's saying, nobody's going to read books anymore. No, we don't need libraries anymore. But all the towns around us, they've been putting up big additions. Grafton did, right?
Yeah, Marlboro
Marlboro.
opened theirs in the last year. Shrewsbury did a couple of years ago. Hopkinton redid theirs and it came out really good. The highest traffic months I can tell you for physical visits are in the summer is June, July, August. So
Really?
that is
Really?
Yeah, September is pretty high too. This is actually kind of the quieter period. We find we do have a drop off in the winter months, especially January and February. That's why you're not seeing as much library events right now, because we've tried over the years and people just don't leave the house. So We are doing more with virtual events too, because we found that people are still doing virtual events, even though it's like kind of a post-COVID environment. So we just started a library speaker consortium where we're going to have authors come and you can sign up and listen to them live and ask questions, or you can watch recordings later. And we've had a lot of interest in that. So
All of this is one of the reasons that we wanted to have you do. It's, your operations very dynamic.
thanks. We were hoping to get bigger the next couple of years, but that's on hold right now. So we're just gonna, buckle down and keep doing what we're doing. So, and I think some of the people here have gone to some of the cooking classes. We're going to continue those virtually. So, we're hoping to have a resident do a garden photography series, which we're getting grant funded. So we have a lot of fun things coming up on the horizon, and Art and Bloom in April. So if you haven't been to that event, it's really fantastic, and we're excited about working with the gardeners again. We're going to be getting artwork from the local schools. So the kids are going to design stuff. The gardeners are going to do floral arrangements based on their artwork, and then we're going to do a big exhibit.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Anything else for Ryan, you guys?
Thank you.
Yeah, I know I suggested I am sort of a, I say lapsed Rotarian, but when I was more local to the area, I used to be part of the Rotary Club. The library still is lucky enough to host their meetings, but I would say Rotary is probably a good group to tap into, especially if you want to try to involve local businesses, only because they try to maintain relationships with them. So if you guys haven't talked with somebody from Rotary, I know that they have, I think, a new leadership. There's
Yeah, they
2
do.
new presidents. So I had connected Vanessa with the former president, but especially Joyce Fukami, who we know, she attends a lot of programs at the library, including our knitting club. She's a great person to work with. So
That's
I'll
a
give a
great
little plug.
recommendation.
Yeah, I'll just give a little plug for Rotary only because I like those people. So
Thank you.
thank you.
You'll be back, I hope.
I'm sure
To
I
visit
will.
us.
Yes.
Please.
Well, I
He
know
has a
most of
mole. He has-
I know most of the people here, but if you guys want me to come back as you start to finalize specific programs, or you want to talk Strawberry Social, I'd like to continue involving our friends group, but having Sandy and I here, I think is a great first step. So, okay.
Great, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda. It's approving the minutes. Unless we want to continue with reflections on Tricentennial celebratory events. It's a general agenda description. Why don't we move on to the minutes? We'll see how we do. So,
Brian.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
so we need a motion to approve the meeting minutes of December 12th.
The motion to approve the meeting and the minutes from December 12th.
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, I had a couple of edits. Oh, crap. I don't know where I put it, the file. There was a couple of typos in there. But otherwise, I thought it was a good job, but I can't find my file. I don't know where I put it that I saved, so I guess we should just move on.
Okay, but are you gonna keep looking for it so we can go back?
Yeah,
Yeah, because we got a motion and it's been seconded, and we'll just put the vote on hold until we find that. Next item would be the review of the committee rules and assigned tasks. I think at the last meeting, we leaned on the importance of having more active and more populated subcommittees. And that was really going to be a top priority as we move into 2025. I guess I could start it off. I guess am willing to be the parade person on our committee. And I've
Hey. Thank you, Don. That's awesome.
I've talked
tricked?
to two people that have committed to be on the subcommittee, and there's like three others that are difficult to get a hold of. But with those two and myself, I think last time I talked to them, which was just a few days ago, was either later in January and certainly no later than early February. We're going to have assignments to go out and do parade research, and also hopefully have a meeting with Travis, because he put together the native parades, and start figuring out how to put a parade together. And one of the things that I was going to ask, it was Ginny and Patty, you two guys went to Westboro,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and the big message on that you got brought back to us on that was a parade is a lot of work.
That's an understatement, but go ahead.
So do you have the name or names of the parade people from Westboro that we could reach out to?
I do.
Yes,
Okay, so if you
they're
get those,
extremely helpful.
yeah, you
It
You
probably
indicated-
be, Don, it would probably be helpful first to, if you have a subcommittee meeting, that I can come and download I have a lot of stuff I've scanned from what they did. And, maybe Jenny would want to come and we could just tell you so that you're not starting off from scratch with these women from Westboro. We could give you some information and we have a lot of paperwork and, kind of how they did their schedules and stuff that might be helpful.
Okay. That would have to be, or wouldn't have to be, but sounds like by no later than the middle of February for us to huddle on that.
When are you planning to have a first initial meeting of the committee?
Okay. I got feedback from one person that said that he was going to be gone the last week in January. So unless we hook up next week, it would go into early February.
Okay, so I think the more time they have, the better, so they can plan. So do you want us to give them a heads up?
How about the three of us meet? Would that be or maybe myself and the other person? I have to check on their schedules. I've just gotten to the point where they've agreed to serve on the subcommittee, and they gave me their contact info. We have that, you guys have that spreadsheet, the subcommittee name, and then the names of the volunteers, their phone number, and their email address. And I'd be submitting that and adding more people as we go along.
Yeah, and as you guys might know, Michelle spearheaded a
Voices from the past.
no,
Cemetery
no,
reunion.
no, Michelle spearheaded a transfer station visit to collect names and interests. And I haven't scanned that to send that to you, Dawn, because there might be more names. I think we ended up with 2 pages of contact names and contact information. And there might
I
be
thought I
people
looked
on
at
there
that.
what?
I thought I looked at that and there wasn't anyone on there that was interested in the parade. It was all the other items. I might be wrong, but I did look at one and it was void of anybody volunteering for parade
You looked at one when?
a couple weeks ago.
Didn't you send it out, Patty?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
No, the original pages are sitting here on my desk.
I have one more to add.
Okay.
So this
I looked
is,
at something.
so this collection of names was after Michelle worked those days collecting signatures or volunteers?
No, I think it was, unless, I'll let you speak to that, Patty.
No, I'm talking about the names and, we put together a sign-up sheet and we had, got people to sign up to get communication from the Tricentennial Committee and also to express interest in, what they'd be interested in and potentially helping out with. But I don't think,
This is exclusive of her efforts at the transfer station.
no, this is the efforts. This is the result of the
This is,
efforts at the
okay,
transfer
got it.
station.
Okay, all
As
right.
So
much
you know
as you
what? I
know,
am
Chelsea.
sick and maybe I'm not making myself.
No, you're
Oh.
fine, you're fine, you're fine. Okay, I just wanted clarity because we had some people express interest in the survey and I wasn't sure if we have grown from that and this is a
Yeah.
more,
No, this
okay,
is after the survey. It
Okay.
was to get people basically to give us their name and email addresses so that we can add them, to our communication network.
okay, excellent. And you got some
And I
people
want to
at
say a thank
parade?
you. And I do want to say a thank you to Michelle for organizing that because I think it was very successful. It was a very cold day.
Very
But
cold day.
yeah, it was a very cold day, but we ended up getting, and she was there the whole time. I was only there a few hours, but we ended up getting quite a number of signatures or names and contact information.
That's awesome. So were there any specific for the parade on that list?
I don't know, maybe I had that conversation with Dawn and said there weren't any things specific for the parade.
Okay.
But I don't think that it necessarily hurts to,
Go
again,
after
go after people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this, as you have said at almost every meeting, these subcommittees have to get a lot more people and,
Yes.
and, and be worker bees instead of everybody's being a manager.
Question. Speaking of subcommittees, have we nailed down the events that we want to have?
We have five subcommittees,
Right.
right? They're right on here. Community barbecue, drone show, historic events, house tour, and parade.
So one thought I had on that is, like at a very early stage, we talked about maybe having. You have a celebration over like a whole year and then maybe one event like month or so.
Right,
So a lot of these are outdoor events that you hold, like April through October. So that's just something to think about. I think some of the events might be things that are more lecture or music or something which could be indoors. And then with the idea that you'd do those kind of in the colder months. It would be nice to have the opening event in January be kind of a big deal.
Ice sculptures, skating parties.
Skating on the reservoir.
First night. The only other issue, we don't have a place in town unless we use one of the schools to hold
That's right.
a lecture or a concert.
Well,
Well, there's
Um,
also, St. Mark's has kind of mentioned that they might have some space available for things.
yeah, and we have places that can fit, 100 people. I'm not envisioning thousands of people are going to be attending.
We're not gonna have Aerosmith or something, no?
No.
I think we need to just, we have some signature events and we've got 5 identified. We were thinking that we might have 12, one a month. And then smaller events throughout the year that would be 100 people, 150 people, 200 people. But I don't think we have identified all of the events, which is sort of coming into play with fundraising because we can't offer people benefits for donating because we don't really know exactly what our events are.
And that's really the push for 2025 is to
Right.
identify the events and put them on a calendar that would hopefully be spread out over 12 months. Some months maybe would have more than one event. Hopefully every month would have something. That's really what we gotta do this year.
This is the appropriate time to bring up another event to wrap into our list.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but I just talked about the parade subcommittee.
Okay.
Does any of the leaders of the other subcommittees have anything to say? Like a fundraising subcommittee? That's really the only other one that has people, right? Right now.
When
Yeah.
you say, do we have anything to say, what do you mean?
Report,
Do you, how many people do you have on that subcommittee?
We have 6 people. There's we lost one person and I think we may have replaced them.
Is that a good number, Jenny? 6 or
No.
10? Do you need 20, 30?
We need to expand it. Every person on the committee has a full-time job and is just stretched to the nines. So we would like to expand our bandwidth for sure. And we've been talking about that, and I was going to get into it a little bit when we do a little summary, but some of us have tried to come up with ambassadors that can help point us in the direction of certain donors and people. But the fundraising, this is our year to push. I mean, it's 2025. We want to give our sponsors and donors 3 years of exposure because that's a huge advantage that they're going to get benefits for 3 years. And we're in the middle of January and we haven't identified our events that we're having and what they can benefit from each event. So it does impact our fundraising, not having a list of events and a timeline and what have you. For example, we can't say, oh, as a, elite signature sponsor, you're going to get a table at the gala. We don't know if we're having a gala. So it's really hard to come up with our package without knowing what we're doing. Does that make sense?
I agree. I feel like we need to pin down the events before we can move on personally.
I thought that's what we did at the last meeting by identifying these 5 items on the.
But that was just 5 events.
Those are just 5 subcommittees that we're working on. We definitely talked about having at least an event a month, 12 signature events, and then other events will pop up, like a strawberry social. That's not a signature event.
I'm not disagreeing. Actually, I'm totally agreeing, but are there names associated with these 5? I mean, I'm putting my name
5
next to the parade.
subcommittees? Where,
Yeah.
names associated with the 5 subcommittees?
do you mean
Who
like
on
a
this-
chairperson or
Who
something?
on this committee will, and I think we talked about this at the last meeting, who on this committee, appointed by the selectmen, will be the mentor or the leader of a subcommittee? And I
Well,
thought we said that every one of us should have at least one subcommittee that we try to populate and get it going.
So on your list, I'd be willing to volunteer if no one else has expressed interest yet. I'd be interested in looking into the drone show. So basically, how you, and I would think what I would do is just do a little research first. How do you do it? Who are the vendors that do this?
Would you say road show?
Drone.
Oh, drone.
To find out how
Yeah,
much
it's like
it is.
yeah, how much does it cost? First, I have to determine whether it's feasible, you know?
Yeah.
So I can do that. How about I first just do a little research about,
Well, that's
Well,
obviously how
that's-
you're gonna start.
yeah.
That's, so you got the drone.
That's around, that's around the idea of
feasibility
cost,
study,
feasibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also, I don't know if we have completely ruled out fireworks. I know we talked about doing either drone show or fireworks. I think, yeah, over time, I think I became persuaded to the idea of a drone show, which is a little exciting and kind of futurist. I don't think I've ever been to a drone show. So how about this? You can put my name now to report back at the next meeting about some basic feasibility and cost of it, so that we can decide pretty soon about whether we're gonna do it or not. Because as Jenny mentioned, you know, that'll help determine whether we do that instead of something else.
That's a lot more than we had 5 minutes ago.
Yep.
So we got a name against drone show. Who wants historic events?
Historic events.
Right, so let's get that one. You've already been working that though, right?
So yeah, we have a couple of ideas. We had our meeting last night. And actually Patty at the last meeting brought up the the grave reenactment that she had gone to and in Framingham, right? And the more I thought about it, the more excited I got about it. I thought that this is a great idea. And then I started, things were going crazy in my head. And I thought, why not get Algonquin involved? Like get the drama club involved. I know that it's, kids that are seniors now aren't going to be there, but, just to sort of, to get, Algonquin involved, maybe the history, I don't know. And then, Patty got me in touch with Sally Waters, and she's the town historian when it comes to the OBG. And then I started looking online, and a lot of places have done these. And we actually have some pretty cool stories of people that are buried here in Southborough. And then last night at our meeting, the historic meeting, Kevin actually thought that maybe we could do it with the Burnett Cemetery as well. I think would have to get permission for that. But to tie the three cemeteries in and sort of like, to do something all together, I thought that would be, a great storyteller. This is history. It's not just, celebration. And I think that people need to be aware of people who have been buried in Southborough, even though they're not famous, but what life was like for them. There's some Civil War soldiers, the revolutionary, just people that died from pandemics. So I just
Charlie Chan.
Charlie Chan, that's right. Yeah. So I think that and
Didn't
And-
we? Go ahead.
and then on top of that, I think that this has been discussed before my time, but last night this came up at the historic, Kelly O'Brien, who also works at the, she works at the town. So she brought this up that there should be like an oral interview of, living residents who have been here for many years and tell stories of what life was like, what changes they've seen. So I think that sounds like a real, I can't imagine that's like overwhelming, but, to get the senior citizen center involved in that. And she was willing to do some of the interviews, but I think that it's more than just doing an interview. I feel that we need to be organized. We need to get questions
Yeah,
ahead of
so that's something that I also have been interested in, and
Okay,
an idea that I had, I haven't made much concrete progress in so far, but I thought is there a way that we could get some like high school students involved and help them to do some of the interviews, and then they could could be a project we get some credit for it. And I had a conversation with Principal Bevan about this like August, and I think he put me in touch with the director of the social studies department. And I think there's an email trail that just dropped off and hasn't been. But I think it would, if there's a couple of us, maybe we can work together on it. I'd be interested in working with Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many resources. I mean, at one point, I was just gonna go knock on a neighbor's door who works for the English department, and just to see if she could get us some contacts, because I know nobody at the high school. But I think, you know.
And also St. Mark's. One thing with Algonquin is that, 60% of the students are from North.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it'd be kind of fun for North. Would that be okay for Northborough residents to come and act?
Why not?
Yeah, you're right. That's right. Oh, no, I was thinking more for something like
Yeah.
that. There's no problem with that.
But the other,
I was just thinking they might be less interested if it wasn't there.
Well, if they're getting credit or if it's an assignment.
Yeah.
But if you work with the teachers and there's a video editing class or something, and that's part of what they're doing is filming and editing these videos. I mean, do they really? I don't think they're going to say no because it's Southborough and not Northborough. I mean, they could be doing a generic video and editing it.
we can give them pizza.
Yeah. I do want to say that I am really happy that Michelle has kind of taken this idea of the cemetery reenactment and run with it, and with Sally and with historic. I think it's an ideal candidate to be a feature event. I mean, you can schedule it so that you have groups leaving every 20 minutes or something to go to each of the places of the reenactments. So it could accommodate quite a number of people. And I had gone over it with Michelle, and she just came back to me and she's like, the more I think about it, the more excited I am. And then I was talking to Sally and she's like, the more I think about it, the more excited I am. So I'm really happy that somebody else is going to run with that.
It's a great idea, Patty, and thank you. I think that, there's so much out there, and we have a lot of resources that we can tap into. So it wouldn't be just one small group. It would try to, like I said, get high school kids together.
Yeah.
Just have to rent costumes though.
Wasn't there, I don't know if it was you and me, Vanessa, somebody said that somebody had already done house tours?
We did.
I have
been in the past.
Well, the Historical Society did it in 2019, and it was Heather, I forget what her last name is, and Kate Battles was kind of spearheading it, and me that put it together. So, and Kate has expressed interest in being involved, and we do have other people on the list that are interested in that. Just because I've done it before, I'm happy to be involved in it. I don't know that I want to be spending, huge hours on it, but I have worked on it.
You would find somebody who's willing to do the legwork, do the work, and have
Delegate.
have that person upfeed the info to you to tell this committee.
Yeah, and I think it's key to get, hopefully encourage Kate to be involved, because she really did the lion's share of the work on that, and is, as we all know, very, very organized. And so just, has meticulous notes that would be very, very essential and handy to planning another one.
Brian mentioned the two new presidents, the two, what, Rotary?
Rotary.
The Rotary. it would seem that the Rotary might be a good, connection to do the barbecue.
That's a great
They do-
idea.
Don't they do the pancake?
No,
And
that's,
the
and
great
who-
idea.
that's the Boy
That was the
Scouts.
Boy Scouts.
Who does the food trucks?
That-
Oh, yes,
Rotary
Rotary.
does. The Rotary does.
Yeah,
The
but that's not
Rotary-
anywhere
The
near
Rotary
what the
did it
community
40 years
barbecue
ago,
is.
right over here. The pancake breakfast.
Yeah, right, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Well, because I got postcards of it.
So,
I
Does
had an
anyone-
idea on the music festival, which we kind of grouped with the barbecue.
okay, okay,
You would need to get.
While I can't spearhead it because I'm gonna focus on fundraising and keep that as my number one priority. I feel that I could reach out to Tanya Taylor and the Saunders family. The Saunders used to be very involved in Southborough Players. And Tanya owns the theater company for children. The name,
Skyrise.
thank you, Skyrise. And she was very helpful at Heritage Day. And she actually told me that she would do a musical that would be free to the community for 2027. But I'm wondering if we could maybe go after them to spearhead that category. The
barbecue and,
music festival.
music.
I have it as barbecue music
A
festival.
music festival is different than a musical. I mean, frankly, a musical
Oh,
you could
totally.
do during winter months inside, which would cover one of our bases of the colder months.
Yeah.
Right, I totally agree with that. And that would be probably one of those smaller events. This is not a signature event, but it would be a great event.
Yeah.
To engage the community, whether it's community all-stars, and she did it for the town of Westboro. She actually ran it for their tricentennial, and she said 100% she'd be happy to do it. But I'm wondering if we don't see if they would take over that category. I know, Dawn, you're trying to put a name with the big
Well, whatever.
subcommittees right
So
now.
we have five events that we're starting with subcommittees for. So other than the barbecue, what was the other one, Dawn, that you don't have somebody on?
Well, am I correct in saying right now we have Dawn on the parade, Andrew on the drone, Michelle on historic? What's the other one?
House tour.
Patty on the
Sorry.
house tour.
We feel good that we can get Patty and Kate. Well, not Patty, but Patty to talk to Kate.
Overseeing.
Some,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
someone on our committee will start motion to start something on each of these. And so I've got, before Ginny said anything, I've got Ginny down here for the music festival, community barbecue. You're gonna reach out and try to find a volunteer from,
I think Ginny's got her hands full trying to raise $500,000 to support these events as fundraising chair,
is
frankly.
it a phone call? Just one phone call?
Well, I don't
One-
mind making the phone call at all, and I would be happy to do that. But I agree with you that we need a liaison from the committee to do, and I'm so happy to reach out to them. And I think it could be a coordinated effort between Rotary and maybe the Saunders Taylor family. I mean, they could say no, and we're back to square one, or we can at least make the effort.
I know we do have people on that sign-up sheet for the music festival.
Excellent. So,
So why don't we start it from another angle? So what, Jim and Sandy, why don't you tell us what you'd be interested in working on?
Yeah, Jim.
Well, I talked to Donna the other day on the phone and mentioned about the parade. You know, helping them with the parade. I mean, I'm not really a leader. I'm a follower. I'm not a leader. I'm
So
not
now the parade
I'm
has
not a
4
speaker. I'm not a talker. I'm just.
Unfortunately, we need leaders.
Donnie sucked me in because I've lived here all my life.
And you're a very highly respected veteran.
So,
And you're well connected, I assume. So if you are gonna focus on the parade, we're all for that, if that's what was gonna go next to your name.
So we got parade, we got 2 names now, Dawn and Jimmy.
Okay,
I can work on either of the 2 open areas. I mean, it sounds like Patty's gonna handle the house tour as the liaison, not as the worker.
Cemetery. Steve Biden.
Is that right?
You know.
I kind of expect that, you know, Kate is going to put together the team of people she wants to work with. I mean, you know, I haven't spoken to her in a month and a half or so about this, but you know, like I said, she did it before, and she's a very organized person. So I think, you know, we need to give her a little leeway to, you know, bring in some of the people she wants to work with. But yes, I mean, I can certainly partake in that, help out where they need me, and then report back to the overall committee of what the progress is.
I think that's what you were looking for, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We to whatever extent our time allows, we'll do worker bee stuff.
Well, I can do the
But-
music festival thing. And work with the
Okay.
Rotary on the barbecue.
Okay,
That's great. And like I said, Sandy, we have, I know I have people on the list that had mentioned they would potentially be interested in helping with that.
and Sandy, I can introduce you to my connections that might be a good resource.
Okay.
Right. Great.
I think so too.
Vanessa. Who do you have for the music festival community barbecue? Sam. Who do you have for the drum?
Andrew.
Historic events,
Michelle person.
house tour,
You can get a hold of her.
parade.
With help.
Dawn and Jim.
You guys all heard that,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yes.
And as we stumble along, as we did tonight, we found another event that we could piggyback with the strawberry and the library. So, and that's what's gonna happen as we get deeper into this. We're gonna find, other smaller events that are good ideas that'll fit in. Each of these, I mean, for the drone show, it might just be one click of the mouse and you've got a drone show.
And, you know,
Hard to believe that, but
Ryan was talking about art in bloom. And I assume you want to involve the gardeners somehow, unless you guys have some other Machiavellian plan that I haven't heard about yet. So, we could do something with art in bloom, and that's a spring indoor event.
The gardeners have reached out to say that they have some ideas and they definitely are planning to be involved.
Okay, good, good.
Yes, they wanted to, the couple of people I spoke to, in regard to that, they gave a couple of specific ideas, but they wanted to, run it by the gardening club first and before it gets public. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew you had a plan. Okay.
if we've covered that for tonight, we can move on to the next item. Did you ever find the minutes, Eddie?
Oh, yeah, it's just, the word bandwidth is spelled wrong. Line 40.
Thank you.
Anything else? We'll bring that motion back up. It's been made and seconded. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, Morris, aye.
Martin's eye.
Burns Fury, aye.
Bennington, aye.
O'Shea, bye.
Wilkinson, I.
All right. Move on to updates. The brick fundraiser. Didn't you spend, Michelle, wasn't that one of the reasons you were at the transfer? Was the
Oh,
brick?
we had hoped to sell some. We
We
did get
sold
one.
one. We sold one.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
it was
That's
actually PR, so people took, Patty gave me all of her supplies. We gave out a lot of flyers. I don't know if we got any feeds from that event, but that was one of the hopes that we had. But we got 4 pages of email addresses.
That's
And-
outstanding.
Yes, so I feel that we need to do this again. Yeah. And it's just been too cold.
When it's warmer.
Better weather, yeah.
Was Sam there?
It was too cold.
No.
You mean Sam wasn't there?
It was
I
the
give
week
you
before-
so
it was the
much
week before
credit.
Christmas.
Sam doesn't come in the winter.
Yeah, so I think, we just need to really get the news out there for. Did I mention this? What about the community advocate to put something in there in the community
I actually-
advocate?
They
I have
don't
a
know how
press
to
release
spell,
I've been
so-
working on. I just haven't finalized it and shared it to go out to Metro West Daily News, the Community Advocate, and the blog. Just specifically talking about the brick fundraiser, but also discussing the group sales discount that we're offering.
So what
Yeah.
is the group sales? What is the group discount, Patty?
So
This came up.
we're offering it to organizations in Southborough that if they purchase a minimum of 10 bricks, they would get a $50 discount per brick. So it's $250. And in exchange, what they have to do is they have to supply everything at once and they have to do all the sales and marketing to the organizations. So that, kind of eases up on the pressure from us. So it will save us time getting those orders. We'll have our own little salespeople out on these organizations and hopefully, expand the brick sales. We know of at least one organization that has committed to at least 10 already. But we
Can I
need to publicize this.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. So it's been incredibly successful, especially with the year-end push for tax write-offs.
Yes, that was
Um,
huge.
That was, and we did a social media blitz and it made people feel like if I don't order it now, I'm not going to get the write-off. So it was great. Patty, is it okay if I give the numbers that you
Yeah,
gave? Okay.
I texted you this morning. Give those
Yes,
numbers.
thank you. So to date, this is so amazing. We have sold 62 bricks and
Oh.
22 mini bricks, totaling $18,595. We have another 10 coming from Kinder Group, which was sold to them at a bulk discount of $250 per brick. So that's another 2,500, and that'll total 21,095. Our goal is to sell at least 300 bricks. So we are kind of focusing on group sales at this point because that'll take the pressure off us from individually selling bricks. But we would really like to get them sold to town boards, committees, and departments like advisory, planning, select board, zoning, historical, recreation, school committee, public works, EDC, library, police, fire, youth and family services.
Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts.
Yeah, we don't mind putting those into a group, a big group to get it done. But the idea is let them do the work, let them do the sales. We need someone to spearhead the efforts to contact the heads of these boards and have them do the legwork and
Well,
collect the
I thought
orders.
we were going to do an email to them. Because we
are-
already have those as part of our list of organizations.
Yes,
The
we
original
are,
list that's in MailChimp.
right. I just think we might need a coordinator, somebody who could say, you know, I'll send out the email, I'll follow up, I'll, you know, get them the forms that they need, and they can return the forms to me. We don't have that person yet.
So we did do a separate form for this group sales thing where they just have to track it by what organization it is, and it shows that it's a discounted price of $250. But it's up to the organization to, sell it and get those back to us in one package
Form,
with
right.
payments in one package.
So I guess that's one of the things that we're looking for. And if anybody thinks of anybody, please let us know. If you think of somebody who you think would be good in that role, don't hesitate to reach out.
We've also decided that anybody that's already purchased a brick, if they are part of an organization that buys 10 bricks, they will essentially be credited with the difference minus the credit card fees.
We don't want anybody to have a bad feeling about paying full
Yeah.
price and then they found out. So immediately we will, tell them, oh my gosh, you're totally entitled. We also have really good news about another potential $10,000 sponsor. I will let Patty, because she kind of attended the meeting.
Sure. So this is actually a member of the fundraising committee is Karen Englund, and it was her idea because she's on the board of the Southborough Community Fund. So we approached them about donating enough money to cover the costs of a subscription of a DMS software. And with Alan on the fundraising committee and I had looked into some different options for that software. And we kind of went back to the fact that we needed a paid subscription. And the most likely one was one that I was already familiar with, which is Bloomerang. So we approached the Southborough Community Fund, and we just had a Zoom with them. What day was that? Tuesday? Yesterday? No, yesterday. That they have they want to donate $10,000, $4,000 the first year, $3,000 the second year, $3,000 the third year. We'd actually only really said that $5,000 will cover the subscription, but they want to support other events with the additional money. They've asked for a couple of contingencies on that, which we're trying to resolve in relationship with the Friends, the board, to make sure that everything is hunky-dory. But that's really good news. The DMS software is going to be, and if you don't know what that is, it's a donor management system. And it's going to solve a lot of problems of communication. You can email, you can do newsletters through it. It tracks all donors. It tracks sponsors and communications with your sponsors. It also, you can create like year-end donor letters and, do those much more easily than what we're probably going to have to do this year. So it's really, really a good thing. Really a good thing.
Good, very good.
Very, very exciting.
Yeah.
And I also just want to point out one more thing. I mentioned that we had 6 people on the fundraising committee. Patty is not on the committee, and yet she has not missed one single meeting and has been.
I tried to miss the last one and you told me to come. You wanted me there.
Sorry. No, I mean, she's been instrumental in all of this happening. So thank you, Patty, because this is huge. That software is going to make a incredible difference, especially
It's going to
for
make things, yeah. And considering we're just working with volunteers and everything, it's really going to make some things more streamlined and easier to do.
So Ginny and Patty, so if we want to make a donation to, it's Friends of Southborough 300, right?
Correct.
Is there like a Venmo to do that or send a check?
Well, we love checks because there's no fees. But the same Venmo that is used for the donations for the bricks and the PayPal can also be used for any amount donation.
That's still around somewhere or online or?
Yep.
Well, we actually, when we set up tables and stuff, we do have the Venmo if anybody wants to make a donation. We probably could even promote that more.
Okay.
Right now I'm really think we need to focus on the brick sales because, I mean, unless somebody wants to just donate $25 or something, but if they want to donate $300, I want to see them get a brick for it. And so that, what we have in mind there at that plaza is going to be as, full as possible. So, I mean,
And
we can
also there've been murmurings that 300 is a lot of money. And the way we'd love you to all to handle that is, first of all, it was $100 a brick at the community house. The community house was 100 years old. This brick that is going into Heritage Park is for our town, which is 300 years old. So it makes sense to have a $300, but it's also the grassroots effort of our campaign. And it's a way for people to contribute substantially at a level that is affordable for some, without being a major donor.
frankly, I'm a little dismayed that those comments have been coming from another Southborough committee, but I think we need to handle that internally.
Yes. I have, going back to the bricks, I have a question. So we've sold all these bricks at $300 and you said now that we're offering discounts so people can get a rebate of the $50 or whatever. What if they're taking the tax write-off already on that? I mean, this is.
Yeah, so we will be sending out those letters for 2024. There's been a couple of sales for 2025 where the people are going to hold on the tax donation letter for 2025.
Patty, didn't you say there was only one discounted brick sold and the rest were all full price?
Yes, and she was in 2025. I think the point Michelle is making is that if somebody bought one at Heritage Day and paid the full price and then decides in March that they want to buy it as part of a group sales, what do we do? Because they've already received the letter for 2024.
Yeah, that's between them and the IRS. You're not talking over $600.
What?
They're not gonna worry about
It's not an
$50.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
not-
basically, I've briefly discussed this with Kathy, and this is above my pay grade,
Who's gonna know?
which is why I asked her about it, and she has it under control and is not concerned. So I am not either.
Well, I mean, that's the answer, it's between them and the IRS.
Yeah.
So that is the right answer.
I mean, technically, if they want, a new letter or something, we can certainly do that, but I don't
Probably
think,
forget that it's a donation.
I think we handle it on a case-by-case basis, frankly.
I don't think too many people are even gonna think of it,
Okay,
honestly. I mean, if you weren't an accountant, you probably wouldn't occur to you to get another letter.
Yeah.
So I doubt you're gonna have much problem.
any more on the brick or fundraising?
Not unless you have questions.
Just compliments.
Yeah,
Excellent.
great job.
Excellent.
Yes.
We'll move on to the next item, the select board quarterly report. It says quarterly, but we've only done one. And this will be the second one. And it's on the select board's agenda next Tuesday. And I plan to go and basically read it to the select board and be there to answer any questions.
Did you send us a copy of what you're planning to read?
It's in the
Yeah, we
packet.
have he sent it to us.
It's a really just a quick kind of bullet point memo, but, you know, you can walk us through it, and of course, Vanessa and I can also add some color, interject.
I
I
did
think
post a meeting notice as a joint meeting in
Yep.
case there and anybody else wanted to attend and there ended up being a quorum.
Okay.
The goal was to have the report inform, but without getting into infinite detail. And allow the select board, if they have questions, then we have the answers hopefully from each of the, in more detail, each of the items. But our agenda is jammed, and we are required to by our charter to report to the select board.
So we actually have a pretty somewhat light agenda, I think, for Tuesday night, so you'll already fine.
Yeah, we did this last July, was the first report, and this will be our second one.
Dawn, on your thing there, formed Friends of Southborough 300. It's Friends of Southborough 300 Inc. Period.
You're talking on the report?
Yes.
Yeah, but
I'll fix that
yeah,
before it goes in the board.
I wrote the first draft, and then I gave it to Ginny, and she cleaned it up. And then I gave it to, I thought I gave it to all you guys.
You did, you did.
And then Vanessa put it on a more appropriate format for the a select board meeting.
Vanessa,
So-
do you want the letterhead for the Tricentennial Committee to put this on?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
Okay.
And thank you for doing that, Vanessa.
sure.
Oh,
Anything
and
more on
thank you,
that?
Patty, for doing the letterhead. It looks great, and the envelopes.
Yep. Oh, we needed to do letterhead and envelopes in order to send out the year-end tax mailing.
It looks great.
If there's nothing else on that, then I'll move on to the promotion of the Tricentennial newsletter. And in our packet was a sample of what the select board puts out monthly.
Bi-monthly.
Just an idea of the level of detail, the number of things that are on there, including something about the Tricentennial. But I'm not sure if that's what you guys, especially Patty, had in mind, something similar to that.
Well, similar, yes, but ours is going to be emailed. I mean, this is the perfect opportunity when we can do it through MailChimp, but it's ideal to do through Bloomerang. Once we get that set up and get our contact database in there. But yeah, I mean, my point in doing this was that I think it's important to continue to communicate on a regular basis with, what we're doing, what we're planning, where we are in the planning. And also, to cross-sell for the bricks or, fundraising or, committee members, subcommittee members, etc. And all that can be handled in a monthly newsletter.
So what's the current status, or what's the next step?
Well, like I said, we could do it through MailChimp, but it'd be great to be able to do it through Bloomerang. So, because then you can just use a template every month, and put in new copy. So it's kind of a little bit on hold for a few days until we get an actual definitive from the Southborough Community Fund. I mean, they said that as soon as, they get the letter and agree to the conditions that they put on it, the sponsorship, they would write the check. So I could see this happening within a couple of weeks, which would be great.
Patty, I don't want to add more work. But do you think it would be, in the meantime, fruitful to send like my Southborough an update on thanking everyone who's ordered a brick so far?
Well, that's kind of the press release that I had that talked about
Oh,
the group sales. So yeah, that can go out first. I mean, I was kind of hoping that, people on this committee could, help with copy, come up with ideas of things that could be included in this newsletter on a monthly basis. Specifically, if you're kind of the liaison for a subcommittee, do a one paragraph report about, what you've gotten, what you've had accomplished so far, things like that.
so I think what you're basically saying is everybody should come up with one item.
Yeah, that would be great.
And then how many are there of us? 7? There would be 7 items.
Yeah, that would be great. It's really just as a communications tool to keep residents informed and also to garner additional contact information.
Okay, well, I will take care of the fundraising component of that newsletter.
Great.
Thank you. Other matters properly before the committee. I guess I'll start off with that. I spoke with a well-respected town employee the other day. And as soon as you start talking to people about the Tricentennial, there seems to be a lot of interest, except when you want them to do anything about it. But person was somewhat emphatic, said that every town has a fountain, and Southborough doesn't have a fountain in like a
Every
public park.
town has a fountain.
Yeah, so I'm not that much into fountains, other than the one at the Burnett House. But he was saying that as a permanent, like a plaque or statue or something that would,
That sounds expensive.
it does. So I just wanted to pass that along, that if anybody thought that was a good idea, or that your great uncle has a foundry,
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Two of them.
That's one thing. And then thanks to Vanessa, who lives in Shrewsbury, which is also turning 300 in 2027. She is connected with my counterpart in Shrewsbury on their Tricentennial. So he has agreed to meet with myself and Vanessa in the near future. We haven't put down a date yet, so that we can steal from them good ideas, and more importantly, coordinate so that we're not competing on certain dates. And bit like big events, like one of which I guess would be the parade. And Vanessa and I have talked about what goes on in Shrewsbury, kind of like the things that go on here in Southborough. So I think hopefully that's going to be really cool, is talking to their committee chair and starting a dialogue between the two towns on moving forward, seeing how they're doing things that we should be doing at this point 2 years out, and so on. So hopefully that'll be coming up, and be able to report on at our next meeting. And then when Ryan was here, Jimmy, you might remember this. He asked, or Sandy, you asked when the library was built, I think.
Mhm.
And it was 1911.
Right.
And when I was growing up, everyone knows B. Jinga, right?
Yes.
Lives at the community house. Her father, B's 90, but her father worked on that.
On the library.
Yeah, he was all,
Yeah.
Lawrence Meisner was the guy's name, and he was all over town, and he was good friends with my parents. And he used to, when I was working at the cemetery, he used to come and tell stories, so that we'd ask him questions so that we could stop working and listen to him tell stories. But that was maybe if you ask Peach, you might remember her
She would be a
father.
great person to do the oral history.
I mean, she wasn't born yet, but I think father said that when he was like a teenager, he was lugging bricks and mixing cement, stuff like that.
Lived up the street. My.
Oh, yeah, I know the mice as well.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd throw
He
that
had
out.
that little.
No, that's
Did you ever know that, Jimmy?
Well, no, I didn't know he worked on it, but
Yeah.
I mean, I knew of him. I mean, I lived right behind him.
That's all I got for the other.
Who knows who
Matters.
the oldest library is in Massachusetts?
Franklin, right?
Yes, 1790. Ben Franklin.
1790.
Franklin.
Wow.
I think we're like number 3 or something, 2 or 3.
Yeah. I think so.
Wow.
Anything else in other matters?
Would it be okay if I just went back real quickly to the newsletter?
Sure.
So, because we talked about like the committee each having like a little component that they would be willing to submit something once a month, is it? We're gonna send it out? Or
That's,
once
I
a
think,
quarter?
what we're gonna shoot for is once a month. Yep.
Can everybody maybe think about what they would want to do maybe over the course of this next month?
Yeah, it would be great to get some more assistance on some of this stuff.
I have a question regarding that. I mean, it feels like nothing's really been finalized
Right.
on these things. I mean, do you want to talk to the community about something that's still not finalized, or?
Well, the first one is probably more of an introductory about, the kind of events we're gonna do and, then, a promo,
fundraiser.
we're forming subcommittees for this, and this, here's the contact information to get in touch if you're interested. You know,
So we really wouldn't be giving you anything for the first one because we don't have anything to give you.
well, unless you want to write up that copy that I just, just said,
Somehow I think you have already written it.
Yeah.
not really.
I don't want to interrupt Ginny if that's not done.
I'm sorry?
I mean, for example, if you're going to work, was it the music festival, Sandy? I
Yeah.
forget. So, I mean, maybe you
Or-
could just it doesn't have to be what you've done so far, but, give me a paragraph on what you hope that event is going to be like and what kind of people you're looking to get involved to help plan it. That would be really helpful.
Okay.
Same
In
with
that,
the parade too.
and with the parade, did you? In that same, and it's not for this meeting, I think maybe next time, it would be good if we could get an idea of what kind of budget we are working with, because for example, Andrew can't know what makes sense if you don't know how much you can spend.
So what I'm just gonna do is just get some really.
I know that, but I'm just saying, if you don't have any idea how much money you're gonna have to work with, it's kind of hard to plan much.
So what I'm thinking about is first bringing some numbers and then we talk about whether it's feasible.
Okay,
Right?
So
And
Andrew, for
commit to doing
example,
something.
just like you said, if you find out that it costs $20,000 or it costs $100,000, you come to fundraising and say, oh, we'd really like to do this, but it's going to cost $100,000. That's when we try to go out and get a sponsor that's going to
Sure.
cover the phone show. So it kind of works. It's not like we have a budget and here you go, because we haven't raised the money yet. We have to like.
Ginny and I had briefly looked into some of the costs regarding a drone show, and it's broken down by whether it's customized or whether it's like a standard thing, and how many drones you use. So it can be, the range of money that you can spend is dramatic.
Mhm.
So
100%.
I intend to present a dramatic range of estimates.
Make sure you do it dramatically.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
Other matters before the board? Andrew,
I move to the adjourn.
I second.
second.
Do you want to check on the meeting date for next month?
Well, that's really.
oh, I skipped
Yeah.
over that, yeah.
Yeah.
Next meeting date, we've got February 12th as,
It's a Wednesday.
yeah,
I'm not available.
We have Tricentennial fundraising on the 10th. I usually like to do it before the Tricentennial meeting.
so it would be the 11th
11th or 13th.
or 13th.
Thursday, the 13th.
So the 11th, I have select board office hours at 6, then let's do that 7.
But what about the 13th?
13th I can do.
I like it. Works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
13th?
13th is better.
February 13th.
Got it.
And then motion was made. Did anybody second it?
I did.
Oh,
See? Motion was made and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, Morris, aye?
I'm an I.
Aye.
Yes.
Burns Fiore.
Good, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Good work.
Feel better, you guys.
Ugh.